making the invisible visible. Black women, 365 days of the year. Each day will spotlight a remarkable woman whose story has shaped Black, British, or global diasporic history. Women whose achievements are too often overlooked. Through these daily short films, we create a living, breathing archive of leadership, creativity, resistance, and legacy. Let's begin.
So my name is Keisha Thompson. I am a lot of things in the world to different people. To my students, I am professor. I teach at a community college in Brooklyn, where we have a diverse array of students in terms of background as well as educational needs. I am a filmmaker to some people. I was able to produce and direct and do all the things to create my first film there all along, focused on the women in the Black Power movement in Trinidad and Tobago of 1970. I'm a sister, I'm an aunt. I am in the nonprofit sector currently, working with young people who are neurodiverse. And so the different things as I move through the world. Some days I'm teaching, some days I'm doing administrative work, some days I'm trying to create something, and some days I'm simply existing. My background, so I'm a psychologist, I'm a counseling psychologist. It's very specific. A lot of the work that I was doing early on in the classroom was about identity. I was learning about identity and being Trinidadian born and sort of traversing being in America and being a Black person in America, it means something very different than being a Black person in the Caribbean. And so a lot of what was being taught to me didn't make sense to me because it wasn't my experience. And so the idea of the documentary came about, and the having conversations about what did Blackness mean in Trinidad and Tobago, which is, you know, it has a very diverse culture and background. And to understand that, wait a minute, there was a revolution that took place in 1970, and I was never taught about it in school, and most people aren't taught about it. And so I started down that road of interviewing people about it, but the voices of the women were not prominent, but they were sort of calling to me in a way where it would be mentioned by somebody, and coming to realize that they weren't just on the sidelines, like they had a pivotal role. And so I made that decision to create a documentary. And so it's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm a storyteller. Like, I'm going to tell my story, but I'm really going to facilitate the stories of other women, particularly Black women. I think the interviews that I did with the women for the documentary really impacted me because I wrote about this in another piece, about love and Black love being Black revolution being an aspect of Black love, particularly for these women. And the way, once I was able to get in contact with them, a lot of them, I interviewed them in their homes, literally sitting at their feet, right? And we talk a lot about that imagery of sitting at your elders' feet is something I know I've experienced with women in my family, and even though they've gone on, like those moments stay with me. And so those moments with the women, they stay with me because I spent time sitting at their feet, hearing what they had to say, but then there was always a care that they extended to me as a person, right? But thinking about what they chose to endure for me, right? Because I am a direct beneficiary of what they did and what they stood for. That that's a priceless thing that I don't know I can even find the words to capture it, but it stays with me. You find yourself, I think, when you're a Black woman who tends to be what folks see as high achieving. People don't think you need anything. They don't think you need encouragement. They don't think you have bad days. They don't think you feel discouraged, right? And so because you're always like, okay, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. I got to be three times as good to get the same thing as my colleagues. So you're sort of wrapped up in this world of always doing and achieving, but not necessarily celebrating. And so I think I've been trying to slow down and even, saying to yourself, like, good job. And I have to remind myself to play. Um, and so recently, only a couple people know this, I started taking improv classes. And it's literally like 2.5 hours of playing and laughter. I'm trying to get to a place now where I'm having things weekly versus having like these long stretches of time where it's just like work and then, okay, I'm looking forward to this bit of relaxation versus putting little treats in the middle for myself is where I'm at with that right now.
Thank you for joining us for today's story. Making the Invisible Visible is our commitment to ensuring that Black women's histories and contributions are recognised, valued and kept in daily circulation. Across 2026, we will continue to share these powerful narratives, 365 days of impact, brilliance and inspiration. Stay connected, join the conversation and help us champion the women whose journeys continue to shape our world. I'm Paulette Brooks and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next story.